The way that most singers use their perfectionism is against themselves. But what if you could learn to use it for your own progress and creative expression? In this video, I'm going to break down how you can focus the skill that you already have in a way that helps you develop your voice, stops you from beating yourself up, and helps you teach yourself more effectively between lessons. Because one of the gifts that perfectionists have, yes, you have a gift, is great attention to detail. The problem is much of the time we're using this to annihilate ourselves, to say, obviously that was terrible, you can't sing, nobody would want to listen to that note was horrible, that kind of thing. Probably sounds pretty familiar. And that just stops us dead in our tracks. We think, why keep practicing when this is the narrative that I get on repeat? It kind of feels futile, like you're not getting any better and you're just getting this feedback loop from yourself that you're kind of terrible and you should give up. But if you instead can interrupt that initial thought pattern, that initial inner critic statement, instead of letting it linger and moving into a more curious question, 3 actually I've got for you, then you can start moving ahead. So you're going to start with the question, what? What is it about that note or that phrase that made me cringe or made my inner critic start criticizing me? So is it something that you felt? Is it tightness? Is it a pinching? Is it something that you heard, like a voice crack, or that the sound is too nasal, or it's too breathy for what it is that you wanted? Get into the specifics of why you and/or your inner critic hated it so much. Because once you have that information, you can then pivot into why. Why might this have happened in this section of the song or on this particular note in an exercise? Now, I will say this is a much easier question to answer if you are taking singing lessons and your teacher has already highlighted this answer to the various challenges that you tend to encounter with your voice. But if you're not seeing a vocal coach at the moment and you're feeling a little bit lost, the answer to what will give you something really specific to look into, to research. So I'll give you some examples as to what the answer to why might be. It might be that your tongue is tightening or retracting. It might be that your lips are tightening and splaying. It could be that you're clenching your jaw. It could be that you are only projecting a couple of inches in front of your face, but you actually want this really big, strong, powerful sound. It could be that you started with a very breathy onset and it's led to some instability. There are a whole range of different things, but we want to get really clear on the what and then start to try to answer the why. And then the final question is how? How can I work on fixing the why? Usually the answer of how will be a combination of a tool, a technique, an exercise, an approach, and diligent focus. But sometimes just that simple awareness of what is causing the problem is enough. So for example, if you are tightening and splaying your lips, you can grab a mirror and sing it again without doing that. And that might solve the problem entirely. The point of working on the how is experimentation. And you are looking for what I like to call a green light, like as in a traffic light. A green light is when you know that the problem is fixed. And this can be hard to admit for perfectionists. They actually don't like to say, oh yes, that was a good one. I've encountered it with plenty of my students. They cringe when I say, yeah, that was really great. Don't you think that was great? Like, it was okay, or it was kind of good, but they don't love to go the extra mile. So green light can be useful instead of having to say that it was amazing or perfect or great. So again, sometimes you will hear it, the crack might be gone or the tone might clear up, and sometimes you will feel it. You will have a lot more freedom in the voice. You'll notice that the tension is gone or the strain is gone. And once you get a green light, you will then know the formula for creating more of them. The mistake that many singers make, particularly those of us who identify as perfectionists, is that we think that once we've gotten it once, we should be able to get it again and again and again without using the tool or the focus that got us the result in the first place. And that's not always the case. Often we are working against pretty deep old habits. We are working on rewiring them. And this takes time and it takes repetition. So this is where patience and self-compassion come in. You want to continue to use the approach and the focus that got you the green light. And don't judge yourself harshly if it doesn't go quite according to plan or quite as well as the green light, especially once you remove the training wheels. This is normal and it is how we all learn. So when you try it again and it doesn't go quite according to plan, you're going to label that an amber light or an orange light. It's not bad, it's not wrong, and it certainly doesn't mean that you should give up on singing entirely. It simply means that something requires your attention. So if you've already figured out what got you to a green light, you go and do that again, right? You figure out the tool or the exercise or the approach and the focus that got you that green light, and you repeat it. And that gives that brain of yours something to really focus on, which can really turn the dial down on the volume of your inner critic. And if not, repeat through those 3 questions to find the answer. If you have any recurring amber lights that you have no idea how to solve, please leave a comment below and I will offer you some suggestions on ways and approaches that you could take. If you have perfectionistic tendencies, you can use them to your advantage, but it will take some reframing. So going from that was absolutely awful to I wonder what made that sound awful to me, and detective work to get you to a different outcome. 99% of singing is figure-outable. The problem is that we often don't give ourselves the chance to figure it out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in a comment below if you did. Subscribe, and I will see you next time.